Some light digging work around the house can be done with a pick and shovel, and there are plenty of those in your vintage Lego town. But when you need the big, heavy-duty excavation done, you need to call in the big machines. That big machine is Lego set 383 Truck and Excavator, and it is ready to take on the biggest jobs. So today, let's have a closer look and review this set from all the way back in 1973. Hello and welcome back to Lord Paul's Bricks. Today we're going to be having a closer look at Lego set 383 Truck and Excavator from 1973. Remember, if you like this review, please leave a thumbs up, and if you want to see more reviews, feel free to subscribe, and as always, you're welcome to leave a comment or simply ask a question. This set has been in my family since new. It was actually given to my older brother as a Christmas present, but it was parted out into the big box of family Lego a long time ago, and I ended up with all of that Lego. So a few years ago, I decided to gather all the pieces back for this set, so today is your lucky day to be able to see this set complete and in depth. If the number of this set that are available on Bricklink is any indication, this set is quite rare, with only 6 showing for sale at the moment on Bricklink. This set, it has 102 pieces. There are no minifigures, and it wasn't really designed for them anyway. It predates them. And I think this set could be more closely regarded as more of a creator style set in today's Lego definition or themes. The set is 52 years, yes, 52 years old, and has some nice features about it. And we'll have a closer look at those features when we've finished today's build. All of the unique and special elements that make up this set are there. I don't have the box or the instructions, but I did have a good scan, which I found on the internet, which I'm going to be using today, and I've got a printout for that, which I'll show you in a little while. Of curious note is the final image shown on the front of the instruction leaflet is actually different to the final model in the instructions. As you can see here, the difference is the ramps at the back of the truck. One image I have shown here shows short 4-stud ramps. The other has the longer 8-stud ramps. I have no idea why this would be the case. Maybe a late design change, and that already sent the instructions off to the printers. If you know anything about this set and why it would be the case, or if you've seen such discrepancy in other sets, let me know so I can share with the rest of the viewers. Given that there are no minifigures to chat about, we'll get straight into the parts analysis. From what I can work out, there are no unique parts to this set, but there are plenty of very rare or long discontinued parts in this set. The 6x24 plate that makes up the flatbed trailer first appeared in 1966 and appeared in 30 sets up until 2019. In red, it only ever appeared in 7 sets between 1973 and 1991. This part is actually a replacement part, because the original one snapped in half many years ago, and this is it. And yeah, it's not really usable the way it has broken in the middle. There are 14 wheels in this set, and they are simple red spoked wheels with a single stud in the centre. These wheels were used in 38 sets from as early as 1968 and used up until 1977. The wheels for the truck have tyres on them, which are black tyre. Those tyres were used in 130 sets and were manufactured in this black as well as light grey. The wheels on the excavator don't have tyres on them and instead use this rubber Caterpillar tread. This tread, known on Bricklink simply as tread with 30 treads because it has 30 notches on it. These were used in 15 sets between 1969 and all the way until 1997. Many of those 15 sets, though, were parts kits for motorising sets, which were really popular in the 70s and 80s. Those wheels and tyres and treads are attached to the vehicles by these modified 2x4 black bricks with wheels holder and a transparent clear underside. These were used in a massive 185 sets, and they were also manufactured in white. If you have any vintage pieces in your inventory, you're likely to have a few of these. The 4x4 turntable assembly appeared in 45 sets between 1966 and 1977. There were some varied designs during this period, some with notches around the edges and some without notches. The next one is a rather odd-looking piece that's difficult to describe accurately. It's a 4x14 plate, but the first 6 rows of studs are notched in, so they're only 2 studs wide with a hole and groove in the middle of it. This appeared in only 11 sets from 1967 until 1973. It's actually the vehicle base or chassis for vintage trucks. I mentioned that the 2x4 bricks that hold the wheels, and this piece is one of those, but actually has a post attached to it vertically. I'll show you this in a little while, how this piece works, but this was used in 21 sets only from 1967 until 1974. There are 2 unusual blue plates with holes in them, these 2. The first is an odd size, which is a 5x6 plate, and I don't think I've ever seen another 5x6 plate in other sets in my collection. And of the 22 sets this part was used in between 1967 and 1974, it was only used in blue 6 times. The second is a more common 4x6 size, but as I said, it has a hole in it that the shaft for the wheel holder sits through, which makes this rather unusual. The size in this plate with the hole in it was used in 21 sets from 1967 through to 1978. You'll see how these plates are used once the set is assembled. The 1x2 brick in red with the old style Lego logo on them were introduced in 1967 and ran through to 1975. In this set, the brick is used to steer the truck. So now I know you're really curious how all of that is going to work. There are a number of hinged pieces and assemblies that are used in both the excavator and the trailer of the truck. This red 2x4 hinge plate was a really handy piece, so much so that it was used in a massive 192 sets in 34 years from 1969 until 2003. This next one is a 2x8 hinge plate, but only one side is 2x8. The other side is 2x4. It was used in 66 sets from 1971 until 2003. Those previous hinge plates were fixed together, but these next 2 pieces are separate pieces that clip together. There is a 2x4 base, and that was only used in 20 sets between 1973 and 1997. The other side of this hinge plate is this 2x4 plate with a pin fork attachment that clips to that base. This was used in 34 sets from 1971 until 1999 and was often used to hold the digger piece like it does in this set. The doors for the truck are 1x3x3 doors with a dual mould design, or are they overmoulded? I'm not sure, so can you let me know in the comments so you can clarify for me? The reason why I say that is because these don't seem to be clipped together. They seem to have been pressed together or moulded together because one part of the clip part is blue, the other part is transparent. So I think you would call it a dual mould. They have, as I said, they have lower part of the door is in blue with the upper third of the door is transparent clear. The yellow 4x4x2 winch holder with metal handle and red spindle was used from 1971 and used until 1977 in only 19 sets. The string cord I've used in this set is not the original, but it is Lego string that I have borrowed from another winch piece in another set. Our final piece is the smooth digger bucket, 3x5 by 1 1/3, that attaches to one of the hinge plates that I mentioned earlier. These appeared in only 30 sets and were only ever made in yellow between 1972 and 1999. These digger buckets are larger than the more common one that was used for small tractors and excavators that were available in different colours. So that's it for the parts analysis. There was some more detail I could have shared about the 2x4, 2x3, 2x2 bricks and how their designs have changed over time, but I'm going to leave that for a separate video. So let's get on to building this 52-year-old set. As I mentioned earlier, I'm using instructions I found online and I have a printout of them here. There are 7 sets to build the excavator and 8 steps for the truck. So it's time we made a start, I think. I do need to be careful though with a couple of these parts because they've been glued together because they'd broken at some point in their history. Starting with the yellow 4x10 plate, we build up the base, add the mechanicals of the excavator and the winch block, another couple of rows of bricks, and add the red pieces that make up the digger arm and thread the cord through. The base with the wheels or the caterpillar attachment is an easy build with the 2x4 bricks to hold the wheels, a 4x8 plate, and the turntable. Add the wheels and the caterpillar treads, and we see we have a completed excavator. To build the truck, we start with the cabin and build that up with the roof on. We flip the cabin over, line up the long red plate, add on the turntable, the ramps, the chassis plate, and finally the wheels and tyres. Flip it back over, and here we have a completed truck and excavator. So let's check out this classic set. Winding the handle on the winch does control the digger arm a little bit, as you can see here. It sits nicely on the flatbed of the truck and makes a tidy enough set. You can see here how you can turn the Lego sign on top of the truck to turn the front wheels to steer the truck during play. I think this is more of a display set at this point, but there is some playability to it, but it really wouldn't work in a Lego town. It's sort of the wrong scale. What I've added alongside this set is a set from 2012, and that's the 4203 excavator transporter. I thought this was an appropriate comparison of two sets with a similar function that are 40 years apart. The newer set has more specific elements to it and a much fancier flatbed trailer. Both of these sets, though, are good, but I'm only reviewing one set today, and that's our vintage friend here. So as I do with all my reviews, I review them in the context of the period from when they were released. This was 1973, the brick pallet was simpler and no minifigure relevance at all. For part selection, I give this a 3.5 out of 5. It doesn't have anything in terms of unique parts, but the use they've made of the hinge plates for the excavator arm is somewhat clever. Playability is 3 out of 5. Even for 1973, some parts of this set are a bit flimsy and I don't really lend themselves to intense play, hence the broken pieces that I've got. But if you've gentled with it, some fun could be had. Minifigures, the default score, because there isn't any and this set wasn't designed for them, it simply predates them. Building enjoyment, 3.5 out of 5 for me. Building up the lift arm is interesting and the mechanisms were fun to build. But so overall, 15 out of 20, which is not too bad for this set given its shortcomings. I think if it wasn't so flimsy, it would rate a bit better, but it will sit up on the vintage shelf behind me for a little while to come until I get tired of dusting it. So that's it. Let me know what you think of today's review by giving it a like. If you'd like to see more vintage set reviews, remember to subscribe, and as always, feel free to leave a comment. Did you have this set sometime since 1975? Do you have this set now, or do you want this set? Do you have any questions about this set, the parts, or my review? So that's all for today. I'm Lord Paul, and this is Lord Paul's Bricks, and bye for now.